Hey shippers, who's ready to jump back into the endless void of ships with a small but mighty one? It's time to leave the mainstream behind and get a little obscure. We're going to be talking about a pairing from the much acclaimed television show, Mr. Robot. Known to many as the show about hacking, Mr. Robot is a fascinatingly complex outing into the social ramifications of living in a digital age, as well as the rigors of life while living with mental illness, addiction, or the curse of boundless ambition. It's usually a serious and dour sit with bursts of dark humor, but that's part of what makes it such a thrill ride to watch for many, or on the flip side, dreary and pretentious for others. There are definitely many speeches about the nature of life, the universe, anarchy, and the erosion of human beings' spirits, just a lot of philosophizing. So if that bugs you, it's not an aspect of the show that ever goes away, so get out while you can. For those who love that sort of thing or are intrigued, well, get excited because the show is also very well acted and the characters are all nuanced. Also, for those who missed hacking montages, this is the show for you. Man, does this show make hacking seem cool. And also terrifying, which is probably the most accurate depiction out there, if a bit more exciting than it probably is. Hacking seems to kind of be like being a private detective when it's depicted. A lot of the boring parts are cut out. So for those who like their techno-thrillers tinged with a level of speculative intrigue attempting to play into real-world fears and some conspiracy theories, dive in and potentially click off this vid, as there may be some inadvertent spoilers due to how much this plot revolves around twists and slowly unveiled relationships and plot points. With that out of the way, let's meet the players. First up, Elliot Alderson, the focal point and main protagonist of this ensemble outing. An unreliable narrator, Elliot keeps the viewers guessing as the layers of his psyche and motivations are slowly revealed, not only to the audience, but to himself. Suffering from social anxiety as well as a variety of other mental health issues, Elliot strives to overcome his depression and find purpose and meaning in life, as well as hopefully happiness. Caught up in events he only partially understands while at the same time orchestrates, Elliot leaves viewers guessing as he simultaneously drives the action and occasionally obscures it. Next up, Tyrell Wellick. Once a rising star at E-Corp, Tyrell is driven by a need to achieve as much status and power as possible. Seemingly tightly controlled with some Patrick Bateman elements, Tyrell also has an uncontrollable side that tends to manifest in fits of violence or unstable mania. Once fixated on an idea, person, or goal, it is near impossible to deter him. Just like Elliot, he too is harboring secrets from the audience that have yet to be fully deciphered. These two met early on in season 1 of the series, and the chemistry immediately attracted some shippers. From the beginning, their interactions are charged with undercurrents, which while some of that may be attributed to the games they are playing with each other based on who knows whose identity at what time, there is also the fact that the two are clearly fascinated with each other, with Tyrell going to great lengths to ingratiate himself to Elliot in all forms, also initiating a great deal of physical contact and invasions of personal space. These, of course, when frozen, can look quite suggestive, if that's the mood you're in. Elliot, while wary, is also intrigued by Tyrell, despite the fact that on the surface he is the very symbol of what they are fighting against. Season 1 already had shippers in a tizzy, but with Season 2, things kicked into overdrive. Despite few on-screen appearances by Tyrell in Season 2 of Mr. Robot, the tagline for this season should have been, "Elliot really wants to know where Tyrell is." That, coupled with a certain confession in the Season 2 finale, has many fangirls and boys alike squealing that this headcanon pairing is now a canon one. So what's the appeal? Firstly, it must be noted that while this show is acclaimed and very well liked by those who do enjoy it, it is still a relatively small fandom. And while it does have fan art, mixes, fic, and the like, it tends towards different types of fan activities, such as critical analysis, reviews, and fan theories. Many theories, because there is just so much left to be discovered, and because the show insists on tackling such realistic moral quandaries, as well as making some intriguing points about voyeurism and modern apathy. This really appeals to some people's analytical leanings. For those few who are shipping, fics tend to be varied, with of course your standard smut and PWP, but also with some well thought out pieces tackling what it's like to live with mental illness or drug abuse. Fics trying to explore both of these characters' inner dialogues and true thoughts, as well as resolving some of the tension between them. Since it's not quite clear what dynamics would be at play between the two, there is much room to maneuver in terms of dominance, who would make the first advance, and the like. While some might find the options and vagueness or mutability of these characters off-putting, others find it rife for exploration. The vids in this fandom for this pairing are interesting as well. A lot of them are heavily stylized to counteract the little amount of screen time these two share, and there are also also some fun, cracky AUs that render the relationship very cute, full of rainbows and hearts, which in such a dour, cool-toned universe can be a fun contrast, so check those out if you want to chuckle, or just want to imagine a world where they could just get along. Also, the song choices for these vids are always fun to check out. It's always interesting to see what people think represents a couple, or a fandom, or just a show in general. This can be a major component of checking out fan vids, since you can discover some cool music you may not have otherwise stumbled across. As for why you may not ship these two, well, as mentioned, this show doesn't tend to lend itself to shipping over much, and there are as always other ships to ship. While some simply do not see any chemistry between these two characters of that kind of nature, at least what many do see is a more tense, uncertain kind of interaction. Also, there are some who feel that there is too much going on with Elliot for any relationship that he got into in this stage in his recovery to be potentially fruitful, and that it could be in fact dangerous given his blackouts and disassociative episodes. Also, Joanna is terrifying. Others simply enjoy the stylized atmosphere and want to see how the actual story unfolds as it twists so often it's hard to get a good grasp on it, and some shippers prefer more even footing for a foundation, while some viewers do as well just for their own sanity, as some find the twists in the show to be too numerous or outlandish to get behind. Still, if any of this has intrigued you, give this show a watch and fall down the rabbit hole, and maybe keep your copy of Fight Club close at hand. If you're watching, you'll know why. Are you guys watching Mr. Robot? If so, what's your favorite thing to get involved in? Fan theories, making some mixes, or are you just enjoying the ride? This was Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy. Thanks so much for watching. As always, check out social media to stay up to date and find out what is coming up next, and stay tuned, for there are as many ships out there as there are stars in the sky.